the infinite architect. The brain does not fear age. It does not tremble at the ticking of the clock or the silvering of hair. To the 3 pounds of stardust nestled within your skull, time is a mere shadow. What the brain truly fears is the echo, the devastating rhythmic thrum of doing the exact same thing every single day. Alaric, a man who had built empires of logic and code, sat in his vast study, feeling the silence of a mind that had stopped asking, why? Alaric had everything: wealth, influence, and a legacy that spanned the globe. Yet he felt a creeping fog. His thoughts, once sharp as diamonds, felt like blunt stones. He realized that his success had become a cage of routine. He woke at the same hour, spoke to the same people, and solved the same categories of problems. His brain was not tired. It was bored to the point of extinction. Deep within the folds of his consciousness, a silent catastrophe was unfolding. Here is the shocking truth about the mind. The brain is a use-it-or-lose-it machine. When it encounters no new stimulus, it begins a process of synaptic pruning, so aggressive it borders on self-cannibalism. It doesn't just forget facts. It physically dismantles the pathways of curiosity to save energy. It prepares for a permanent winter. Alaric looked at his shelf and picked up a dusty cello, an instrument he had never touched. He felt a spark of fear. The fear of being a novice, of sounding terrible, of failing. But as his fingers fumbled against the strings, something miraculous happened. The gray city of his mind felt a tremor. The brain, sensing a new pattern of vibration and rhythm, hit the emergency restart button. Music was not just a hobby, it was a structural renovation. As Alaric struggled with scales and sonatas, his brain began to secrete brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a fertilizer for the soul. New neurons, fresh and hungry, began to sprout in the hippocampus. He wasn't just learning music, he was physically rebuilding the architecture of his intellect. Thirsting for more, Alaric dived into the labyrinth of a dead language. He traded his comfortable spreadsheets for the jagged syntax of ancient glyphs. Every time he failed to conjugate a verb, his brain screamed in frustration. But beneath that frustration was the heat of a furnace being relit. The fog began to lift, replaced by a searing, youthful clarity. The climax of his transformation came one quiet evening. As Alaric translated a poem while humming a cello concerto, he felt a neurostorm. The old, rigid boundaries between his logical side and his creative side collapsed. A surge of electricity raced through his prefrontal cortex, connecting ideas that had stayed separate for decades. He saw the world not as a set of solved problems, but as an infinite canvas of questions. He realized that the old man he saw in the mirror months ago was a ghost created by stagnation. Age is not a number of years, it is the thickness of the rust on your gears. By forcing himself to be a student again, Alaric had performed a miracle of biology. He had triggered neurogenesis, the birth of new life in a landscape he thought was finished. The lesson was simple but haunting. Stopping learning is the exact moment you start to age. You can be 90 and vibrant if you are a beginner at something today, or you can be 25 and decaying if you believe you have seen it all. The brain is an explorer. If you take away its map, it simply stops walking. Alaric closed his books and put down his bow, his eyes bright with a fire that no billionaire's gold could buy. He looked out at the horizon, realizing the journey was only beginning. The brain does not fear age, it only fears the end of the story.